You could have done
I've never seen that happen.
And just, well, you've never had any fun in your life. Then what do you want me to do? I can't help you.
You. Whoa. Welcome to May the Zoo be with you, America's most.
No, the comment section specifically asked for Josh to do an intro instead of you.
No, one person is not the comment section. You know that, right? That's one moron. Whoa. Welcome to May the Zoo be with you, America's most interruptiest TCG podcast. That's for you, Louie. I am, of course, joined by the Hatless Wonder himself, hometown, home team, Josh.
What's up, everyone? What's going on?
Right. I am also joined by the man 3 beers in with 3 more to go, Louie DeGeorge.
Half a beer in, but I do have 3 beers in front of me. Josh and
I, of course, am the only sober one, which is how you know I don't need to drink my problems away because I am a healthy, functioning adult.
If 3 beers makes me not sober, I have lost a lot of weight, and I'm very proud of myself. What's up, everyone? We're super stoked to be here today. Thank you for watching. May the Zoo be with you. This is like episodes 8, 9, 10, I don't know, of the new season. We're like rolling through this new season. True. It is. It's almost true? Yeah. We're like rolling through this new season. So thank you so much for watching with us every Friday morning, both on YouTube and Spotify and Apple blah blah blahs and maythezoobiewithyou.com. We do have merch. George, how many people will show up to your store with
I have had
Hello Boo Boo merch?
I had 3 people this weekend with my shirt. Thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you for allowing me to make money off your face.
That's easy to do. I'm beautiful.
Yeah.
I am beautiful.
It's kind of like I should add that to my resume. Was able to make money off of George's face.
Current job, failing TCG store. Also made money on George's face.
Today we have lots of things to talk about. It's going to be a spicy podcast. I'm right about every bet that we've had on the podcast. We couldn't come up with a name for Unfinity for this section, so we went with Unfinity to 1K. We wanted to be really original. So I'm in. I was a little doubtful on Unfinity. Then Louis called it that. Back in. All in. And then we're going to do Dumpster Dominaria because I was 100% right about Dominaria. We're going to finally talk about how many boxes.
We're not going to. Louis is lying to you.
We're going to do that. And then we're going to do a cryptic Scoopy, which I'm labeling as a cryptic Facebook post. And then Made in China, which is our sorcery segment today. So it'll be fun.
Ooh, harsh, Louis.
George's record was 2-3 at his Genesis event, which we'll talk about.
Excuse me. At the national championship for sorcery, we had
not true. That's not what it was billed at.
Assad specifically said that if we had the largest circuit in history, we could call it that, and we did.
Okay, if Assad wants to call it the national championship, he can do it in the comment section below.
Don't betray me.
Yeah. And then we're going to talk about who are the collabs. We're going to predict who we think the collaborations are going to be for MetaZoo. Yeah, we're doing that.
No, George is not going to do that. George knows.
George knows, yeah.
George thinks he knows.
That's what we're doing here. Hey, if you're enjoying the podcast, make sure you hit the like button. Did you guys know, Josh, did you know this YouTube thing that more importantly than hitting the like button is people who hit the share button? You don't even have to share it somewhere, but if you hit the copy link, it's like massive for the algorithm. So if you want to see the podcast grow, go ahead and do that.
If anybody ever shared a video with me, I would immediately kick them out of the friendship group.
Yeah, you would have to start with friends first.
I just want to leak all of our group chats right now and all of the videos you have shared with us. Yeah, at once.
Shared any videos with you?
Yeah,
I am certain that you have.
I don't think I have.
Let's hop in. Let's talk about Magic for a little bit. Unfinity. I am very curious to hear Josh's take on Unfinity as the resident. I play the game more than anybody else on the podcast.
Well, he plays the game.
I was about to say,
I guess that's true.
I play Magic 3 days a week, you guys.
Josh, have you played this month?
I play Magic 3 days a week. I play Pauper on Mondays. Saturday, tomorrow, when you guys are watching this, Saturday is our Commander stream at 8 p.m. So make sure you hop in on that.
That is okay content to plug because that is some of your best content. That Commander stream is awesome. That is very cool.
I want to
and I get to prove during that stream as I watch that you don't actually play Magic because you don't know what you're doing.
That's not true. I won last time.
You cheated last time.
Yeah, it's rigged. It's your channel. It's rigged.
All right, Unfinity. What are your takes, Josh?
Listen. Unsets were awesome. because of the opportunity for people to experience Magic in a unique way. And Magic is one of the best games that supports like some kind of casual play experience. Like it does casual play experience better than almost anyone else. It's amazing at that. But now we get full art lands and special treatment cards all the time. And there's an unset coming out with legal cards and like cards that are not only just legacy legal cards, but there's shock lands in there. There's full art lands, but we have full art lands every set. It's going to just destroy Pauper. It's going to destroy Command. I hate this set. I hate it.
Josh,
yes.
You have been reading too much Reddit. You've been reading too much Reddit.
You said that to me the other day. I don't know the last time. I don't even have Reddit on my new phone.
Fine. I'll correct Louis. You've been on 4chan too much. Get off the 8chan. Come back to Earth.
Okay, we're going to drink every time George dates himself.
Is 4chan not a thing anymore?
It's a thing still. Josh, you would think with your computer background, 4chan would be like what you're all about. Isn't that like all the computer nerds?
No. It's if you guys know about 4chan, it's not for computer nerds. Okay.
I don't know.
How about 8chan? Is that still a thing?
I didn't even know Anyway, this is not relevant to the topic.
No.
Put in the comment section below what chan is your favorite. Continually.
You bozos are pumping this set so much, and every time we talk about Magic, you fud up Magic, and I talk about how great it is. No, I'm not holding on.
I'm on your team, baby.
I
disagree and I went on your team
about this set already.
Call him out, Josh.
I'm putting you in. I'm putting baby in a corner.
We haven't talked about Unfinity at all. How have we pumped it?
That's just the best intro to the Magic. That's the best intro to the Magic section ever.
Pumped it.
All right. Hold on. I need to make an apology here. Whoever said Josh should have done the intro was clearly right this week, and I apologize.
What you want me to do? I'll plant that in. I'm trying to find my notes for this section, but I can't find them. So if
nobody cares.
You don't even know if you pumped it or not. You wrote it down and then forgot.
No. So okay.
So why do you dislike it? Like I've heard that you don't like the shock lands, which I don't understand because people love shock lands.
Yeah. Why are you upset about that?
I love shock lands. I love shock lands. Why are these shock lands in an unset?
Because I did a video on this. The basic,
which I clearly am never going to watch. So
the basic
facts,
the basic full arts now add no value to the unsets. You like Unstable had value because each pack had a $3 land in it. Every single pack had a full art land. Those lands were selling for $3. You could have fun with the set, make most of your money back, and have cool lands, right?
Yeah.
Like now you don't have that because every single Magic product has a full art land and they've completely devalued those. So they had to put something in that to add value. And in my mind, that's why they put the shock lands in. No? Why does it matter that shock, like why does that ruin the product for you?
What's the point of an unset?
To have fun.
So why does it matter what
I have two takes on that. Do you want to tell us your point on that, or do you want me to tell you my point?
No, I'm just curious as to why the shock lands have to. Why does value have to be added to the pack? Traditionally, there hasn't been much
value has to be added to the pack because otherwise nobody will do it. Like the
last unset was a total disaster. Remember
the unsanctioned?
That was a total unmitigated, horrific.
Well,
disaster.
They did it as a like.
I don't disagree.
It was like a board game.
I don't disagree, but I suspect that horrific mistake was in the back of their heads when they were designing this set.
I read an article that was that quoted Mark Rosewater.
You read?
Oh, I know. I know this.
I was trying to find the actual thing so I could do like the full on quote, but this is going to be my summary of the quote because I couldn't actually find it. But basically, what he said is that he was disappointed by the way that unsets were received by the community, meaning that because they made them silver bordered, people just naturally were like, you can't put these in any Magic decks. And his original intention for unsets were that at the casual kitchen table level, it was a dialogue of like, hey, do you guys mind if I add this card to my deck? And the casual level be like, no, that's fine. It doesn't seem too powerful. We'll let you play with that. But because they made them silver bordered, it basically led to like, hey, these aren't legal at any level. They're completely worthless cards. They have no value. And that is, in his words, that is why they changed it from silver bordered to an acorn on the bottom for the cards that weren't legal. Now, that is what they said, and what we always say, and what George started on this podcast, it's not what you say, it's what you do, right? And what they did was they didn't just put acorns, they also made a fourth of the cards. What did I say? I said this to you guys. Was it a fourth of the cards and a third of the rares? Is that what I said to you guys?
I have no clue.
I don't remember the stat, but it's
like,
close. That's
like
close.
Like between 25 and 30% of the cards in the set don't have an acorn, and they are legal in Legacy, Pauper, Commander, all these formats.
Yes.
I have a way bigger issue with that than I do about Shocklands.
That's so. Again, you've taken the thing that I was most upset about and said you agree with me, and then taken one small thing that I said and made that the focus. If I had to pick one thing that I'm the least upset about of the things I'm upset about, it's the Shocklands.
Okay,
you want to print them in the packs?
Okay,
I'm willing to concede print them in packs and give it value.
So why do you care that there's legal cards in an unset?
Because the mechanics are not Magic, man. Like one of the Space Jace, and this is the one that everyone's really upset with.
Fantastic name, by the way.
Yeah. What's that? It's Space Bellerin.
Space Bellerin instead of Jace Bellerin.
Instead of Jace. It's funny. Yeah.
It's
Magic's funny, man. Those guys
It's pretty good.
Those guys have good humor.
It's pretty good.
Oh, George, stop it. You just don't know who Jace Bellerin is, so you don't relate to the joke.
That's the spellcaster guy that was in Double Masters. What were you saying, Louis? I missed it.
That's almost true. I think you're talking about. Are you talking about Snapcaster Mage?
No, Jace the
Mind Sculptor.
Yes, there you go. Got it.
Not in Double Masters, but it's okay. Yeah, he's in Masters. It's close.
Moving on.
Yeah.
I nailed it.
You're so good. But the mechanics, George, are not one of the mechanics for the Space Bellerin is you separate the entire board into 3 different sections. So if you're sectors, and then your planeswalker affects different you can say I want to affect sector A or B or whatever. And the problem is now you have all these things to keep track of, and it's not a Magic. It doesn't feel like
Is that a legal card or a not legal card?
That is a legal
card. And this is the problem, is you just said it yourself. Unsets are supposed to be fun. And because of that, they can do things like this, where they can say, make sectors, and the old chaos confetti, right? Where you ripped the card up and threw it in the air, and it was chaos orb for anything that it landed on, right?
Yeah.
That stuff is fun. And all this, I made the cards not silver border because then people didn't play with them. BS. Like at the LGS all the time.
Okay. James Garfield will not come on if you keep up this nonsense. All right. Like I'm going to be very clear here. He's supposed to come on next week, Josh. And if he cancels because of you, I'm blaming you.
Listen, I'm allowed to be negative about something in Magic, and this is the bone that I've chose to chew on today. It's not Magic, and leave the unset what it is. I'm fine with the Shocklands, but don't taint the other formats and the rest of the game with these weird unset mechanics. They're going to be there. They're legacy formats. It's going to be there forever.
So, George, another one of them is, and this is the one that's affecting more Pauper, is that each pack is going to have a token sheet that has stickers in it. And the cards put a sticker on target card. So you literally, I get it. It's thematic, but they could have made it counters or whatever, and instead they made it stickers. No?
They can't, because it's perpetual. It's a way to take an online mechanic, right? When you're playing a game online and you affect a card item and send it to the graveyard, that effect can't stick to that card because a token would be removed. A sticker, the element of stickiness means when it goes to the graveyard, it maintains those attributes.
Wow, is that in the rules that it maintains it?
Yeah, it's weird. I hate that. That's crazy. We've taken this mold between online and in person.
Okay,
sorry.
Enough.
George.
All right, Fud Masters. Let's.
Okay, well, I have a take on the Fud Master, but go ahead.
What's your take on the Fud Master?
No, I want to hear your take first. I'm just sticking my flag, and I get next talk.
This will be fine. Cards that are not good or overpowered will be. Magic has no problem banning cards. Only one game that I know of banned more cards last year than Magic. And listen, Magic has no problem banning cards.
Sure.
If they have a problem, they'll ban it. Magic loves banning cards. This is not a big deal. And also I won't, I hate bannings probably more than anybody on the face of this planet. I will have no problem if they ban cards from the unset. I don't care. It's an unset. Let your freak flag fly. So, like, if there's really a problem, they'll ban it.
No, you. That's a terrible take. That's fine.
Why?
Just let George have that terrible take and let the comment section. Can you please just deal with him? Like, it's a terrible take.
Yeah,
George.
put in the comment section.
We are not okay with a game making things that just will be banned. That is not something that. For the record, that is not the.
Because why make them legal in the first place? Then it could just be unset. It could be not be legal.
Put an acorn
it could just
on
be
it.
an unset.
Put an acorn on that card.
The whole set could be illegal and
I
for fun.
could not literally care less what they ban and don't ban in an unset. Nothing could matter to me less.
But it's not just an unset. It's effective in Commander and in.
I understand that, Boo Boo, but the cards come in an unset.
So what?
They get a free pass for unsets with me. They get a complete free pass.
The point is that they didn't have to make them legal. They didn't have to open.
I don't think it matters. I don't think this matters.
Okay, so here's the thing I think doesn't matter. I think people are really upset about it in Commander. And I think the reality is people on the internet get in this little like bubble where they're like, oh my God, every game I'm going to play against Space Jace. Every game I'm going to play against Space Bellerin. And like in reality, you're going to see that card like 3 times in your life. And if your play group isn't okay with it, you can just be like, look, play group, this card's banned. So like, I don't think it really matters in like Commander. I understand the legacy formats and that kind of thing. But George, to your FUD Master thing, I actually think that as frustrating as this is for players, this is a really, really good thing for stores and for this product. Like I see that perspective in a big way. I think unsets the shock lands maybe would have been enough, but this adds a whole nother level to the unsets of making the cards relevant and useful. And I really do understand what Mark Rosewater is saying about wanting and I think that this proves to me my what has been not really a theory, has been a pretty obvious thing, but my brain function on what Magic the Gathering is. Magic the Gathering doesn't really care about being a competitive game.
That was great. Me and Josh just had a moment.
Did you just text him? You can't do that on the podcast.
He didn't.
No,
we didn't need to. We didn't need
listen.
to
Just keep talking in your echo chamber. We're out
Magic the Gathering doesn't care about being a competitive game. They want to reach as many people as possible, and so they are becoming more and more a fun game that they want people to enjoy at a kitchen table.
Josh is gonna stroke.
I'm gonna lose it because literally what you're describing right now could have just been a silver bordered unset. Maybe the last unset bombed and nobody played it. I have literally played games casually with friends at the LGS where we say we're gonna include unset cards. We're just gonna do that, and I've done it, and it's happened countless times. Like you could have done
I've never seen that happen.
And you've never had any fun in your life. Then. What do you want me to do? I can't help you. You could have just left it that way.
He should have absolutely done the intro this week. I apologize to all of our listeners.
I told you I'm going to be a menace in this section.
I apologize to our listeners. I did a great job. He would have done a wonderful job.
This is just it's just incorrect. Everything you're describing could have been accomplished with an unset, with a normal.
I agree with you, and I like this.
So I agree with you. I wish that they would have just made all the cards have acorns. My point is, I see the logic in why they got rid of the silver borders.
I could not care less about this. I don't know why any of you care about this. Like, it's an unset. It's meant to be fun. Relax,
but it's not.
It's amazing.
Like, it's meant to. It's an unset. It's meant to.
So stop arguing with the guy who hasn't played a game of Magic the Gathering in 25 years.
Sorry.
What's the point of arguing with him? He hasn't.
Because I'm on a podcast with him.
If he looked at a Magic the Gathering card, he'd be like, "Why is there text on it? Why isn't it just a 4/3?"
Are there text on these things now?
He's never even played with Planeswalkers.
That is actually true.
George would play a game of Magic and be like, "Wait, what's that?"
I think that's
cheating. Hey, you get to experience it all over again. And when someone put a sticker on his card and ruined it, he'd be mad.
All right. Now that you guys are done being lunatics, my understanding from stores is that stores do one of two things with unsets: unbelievably well or horrifically terrible.
Yeah.
Overall. Last time everybody did terrible.
Well, that was draftable.
That was awful.
Yeah.
That was the dumbest thing Magic's done, other than Omnath.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
Omnath was obviously the dumbest thing they've ever done.
George hates Omnath because it was banned. That's why.
It was, no. I was like, Omnath sucks because it wasn't banned, so they could pump through their almost a bad word, their freaking boxes, and then they banned it 2 weeks later after all these poor bastards bought a $20 billion Omnath and $10,000 collector booster box.
George,
this is true.
Did a certain store maybe buy like a
The set's booming. I'm thrilled with that.
Did a certain store maybe buy a bunch of Omnaths like a day or two before it got banned?
Not me.
I think he told me he did that.
I not buy any Omnath.
No,
George, I wish we were
singles.
friends. No, he bought Oko.
Oh, it was Oko. He
Love
did.
Oko.
That was Oko.
I love Oko still. Anywho, so like I think this is great. I think this is fine. My store is super hyped about the unset. I don't know why.
Everyone I talked to at my store, nobody cared about it. But my store's not competitive. My store is.
That's the thing. You gotta chill, baby. Chill.
We're not all tryhards like you, Josh.
Yeah, Josh. We're not gonna be there on arena day one, hitting refresh, waiting to see how much we can mess up the table. Like, you gotta relax. Have one of your 18 beers. Have some fun with Commander.
I'm gonna keep drinking beer until you two start to look good.
Josh also hates Commander.
You better. R.I.P. Josh. This is Josh's last episode.
Josh, I respect the frustration, though. I think they should.
Josh, I want you to know, I also respect your frustration. What a freaking weird way to say this.
No,
Josh, I want you to know you're a person with value to me.
Okay.
Did I see a card that didn't I send you guys a card that had an acorn on one version and not an acorn on the other version?
Hey, Louie.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that.
I value you as a human being as well.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you. All right, let's move on.
Are you sure?
Hold on. I got one last take.
Okay, keep beating the dead horse, Josh.
I'm not beating a dead horse. Some of the art in this set is so really cool. Yeah. It's really cool. And I don't think the set's going to do poorly on release. I think it's going to be fun. I don't like the fact that it's legal. It could be illegal and still do well on release and have fun.
Here's what I don't like. I think we're getting every box we asked for of Unfinity Draft.
Oh God, please no.
I don't think we're going to get allocated.
I think I'm stoked about this set.
I'm going to put my PayPal address in the comment section below. I'm going to need some help, brothers.
Are you selling your bags on?
I honestly think
I ordered so many.
I think you're looking at this wrong. I think Josh is right, but also George. Like, I think this set could be like highly successful.
I think it will be. Louis, I asked for way too many boxes. Like, think of what too big of a number is. Double it, and you're probably almost there.
There you go.
Like, listen, you're going to see boxes on my shelf. I think unsets are fun. I don't like that any of it's legal. So don't misquote me.
Yeah. Okay. I respect your opinion.
I respect you as an individual.
All right, let's talk about
both of you.
The dumpster fire that is Dominaria United. George, how you feeling about our bet?
Not great. So I wasn't feeling great before I talked to Distro. I ordered the maximum I could for collector boosters. The rep goes, "Are you sure?" Warning sign number 1. Then they were like, "Oh, if you want more set, let me know. We're probably not going to restock it till next year." Warning sign number 2. I looked at TCG player. Warning sign number 3.
Josh and I are awfully close in our bet.
You're going to lose your bet to Josh and win your bet against me. Here's what I don't understand.
$33. Sure.
That's great. Here's what I don't understand. How is this happening? I don't get it. I don't get it.
All right, we need to update the viewers. For those viewers who this is your first time here, first off, hit subscribe and thank you. Second,
go back and watch the first 60 episodes, then come back and you'll understand the bet. Josh looked different in season 1. It's weird.
George bet me. It looked a lot better in season 1.
Hey, whoa, that is not true. This podcast got immensely more handsome since I've been here.
We've gotten more handsome if we replaced me or George, but Mitch was a good-looking guy. All right, so George and I's bet.
Louis wild tonight. This is great. This is gonna be great podcast.
90 days. George said $300, right?
I'm wrecked. I am wrecked.
Yeah,
like all
it is George might far be more likely to be 200 than 300.
George should just call this charity, giving me free boxes.
I think Josh is getting my box, not you this time.
No, we did a case.
We did not do a case.
I think what's going to happen is George is going to ship you a box that's going to then be forwarded to me.
So then Josh and I did 30 days after release, which we're like, what, 15 now? Something like that, probably?
Yeah.
30 days after release, Liliana, you bet $18.
And you bet 44.
I don't know if that's true or not. Anyway, Josh claims that the middle ground is $31.
We took my low and your high to be as far away as possible.
At the 30-day mark, what is the price? That was the bet.
Yep,
you're gonna get wrecked on that bet, Paul.
No, it might dip under, but at the 30-day price, it's going to come back up.
No. If it's at any point in the 30 days, yes, it is. Don't you dare.
I think you literally made a point to specify that one.
Because you're a salesman, and I can feel you trying to take my.
I've heard about him before.
We're pretty close though. It's at 33. It's at 33.
We both. You know what this goes to show? You know what this goes to prove? Neither of us had any clue. It's going to land right in the middle, and we were both here.
And you might fall on the other side of it. Anyway,
I don't get why this set's
dumping.
So I don't get it.
No,
so I will say this. Like, here's my only kind of like Monday morning quarterbacking on this. The whole market's down. Like every TCG, weirdly, except for CN1 and Kickstarter for MetaZoo, every other game, every other set is down.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be
even the rest of MetaZoo is way down.
I was saying, like CN1 and Kickstarter are pamping.
Took the most premium product and used that as the core example.
Sorcery is the most premium product. I've learned about this from their Kickstarter.
But even like Dominaria or Double Masters is down right now.
Everything's down. Like the whole market is down. So like that, but like that just I don't think that fully explains what's going on with Dominaria. Like it's not down, it's wrecked.
So here's my thought on Dominaria. It has less to do with the set and more to do with the price change.
No.
The market is rejecting. The only reason the prices feel so low is because of the distro price. Like the market is rejecting the idea that like the consumers are saying they aren't willing to pay 13% more.
Our favorite distro just released their next dump list, and like
everything's on it.
Everything's on
everything
is on it.
Yeah,
like they're dumping everything. Every box of everything is on that list.
Fact.
Like,
so I'm looking at draft boxes are at $100 right now. Set boxes are $115.
Yeah, I mean,
collector boxes are at $215.
That's rough, man. That's freaking rough.
Yeah. So
like collector boxes being at $215, right? Because of the price change, that's a bad sign. Well, but any other set at $250, collector boxes at $215, the short after release, not a bad sign.
Here's what I think maybe we got wrong. Here's something that maybe I got wrong, which is rare for me. Unlike the Scoopy Scoops,
unlike every other bet that we've ever had on the podcast.
Yeah, it could be the title.
Unlike the Scoopy Scoops of Cryptic, which I often get wrong because Tanner gets put them on Facebook right before they air. Thanks, Tanner. I figured they were going to cut back on production since they're raising the price to make it a more premium product. I think they were just like, you know what really makes my money jiggle? Raising the prices.
Yeah. That's it. It is another sign in my world where like Wizards just doesn't care about anything other. Like they don't care about the LGS. They care about money, and they don't want the LGS to succeed.
They're not invested in the LGS, and if along that route, I wouldn't be surprised to see some premium products going to you guys first, and then exclusively to Amazon right after for wave number 2.
Okay, let's give them some credit here. You
like
guys,
time trial.
Oh, stop it! You can still get time trial from distro.
One box a week. Box a week. No, it doesn't matter what else you order. One box a week.
$1 a week. I love it. So like they do a lot for the LGS in their defense.
So
have you ever not gotten your promos? Have you ever not gotten your promos?
Listen, I agree that they do a lot for the LGS. I think there are segments. Sorry, continue.
They moved the thank you for not interrupting me. They moved the release from online back to in-store?
That was huge, yeah.
Yep.
I always get my promos on time. I always get buy boxes. Listen, I'm clear about this. I'm not a WotC fanboy. I'm not a Magic fanboy. But I think, like, listen, like, on the whole, they do far more than I would expect a company of Wizard size to do for the LGS.
That's a fair take.
If Amazon ran an LGS, I would get Jeffy B's turd in a box every week. Okay, like that would be his gift to the LGS. They do stuff to help to help you. Like,
I agree, and I'd
get a picture of Jeffy B's yacht with a turd in it. That ain't what I want to help.
I think the reality is, this is reaching and assuming, but I think the reality is Wizards probably cares a lot about the LGS, and particularly the people at Wizards probably care a ton about the LGS. They've been here for 20 years, 30 years. They saw it grow. They have connections. They have friends who own LGSs, that kind of thing. They care a lot about it. But Hasbro could not care less about the LGS.
As a shareholder of Hasbro, like you are, I know. I
take my shares.
We are three.
I have 6 shares. Take my shares.
Okay, don't tell your shares out loud. We are owners of Hasbro.
Why not? Why is that so bad?
Because people are going to know that you're not a big owner. We three basically own Hasbro. We can work to change this on the inside. I think that should be our new goal for this season.
Did you guys see the Alpha Fox thing's like completely dead?
Yeah.
The website's down, like everything's completely dead.
Rudy, put in the comment section what's going on, buddy. We thought that was gonna make it happen, Captain.
Yeah.
You know what? If you don't want to put it in the comment section, just join us next week and we'll all talk about it.
He's coming on with James Garfield.
Yeah, him and James Garfield are coming on to talk about the
and Logan Paul.
Logan Paul.
Busy week next week, boys. Busy week next week.
Make sure you subscribe.
Make sure you subscribe. You don't want to miss that.
You might not have notifications on because we're gonna take down the podcast instantly. So
it's good if we're banned.
This was all sarcasm. No, so like I think
I'm sure people really thought this.
No, some people are not great at sarcasm.
Did you see that somebody was roasting?
Why are you insulting our viewers?
Somebody roasted me because they were like, I thought, because they said that they had a picture of me learning Genesis, and he was like, I thought George was like an expert Genesis player, and I was just like,
well, maybe
what's going on
if it's someone's first time watching you, maybe. I don't know. Probably not.
Your first impression's a little rough.
I remember the first time I met you. I didn't like you either. So, when we were anyway, like first time I met you.
But
I was gonna say the first time I met you in person because that was funny because it was like a year and a half after we knew each other. Anyway, I think like Hasbro just doesn't care. Like their care is the bottom line. They want to print as many boxes of collectors as possible to make as much money. I
think that is backfiring. I think they're gonna. Here's my hot take. Hot take for next year. That's gonna stop. You cannot. I mean, like, so on the dump list, distro was $60 more than TCG player on Baldur's Gate Collectors.
My favorite set. I should have bought it all.
That's most investable set right now in 2022.
No,
that's only true if you can get it at the right price.
No way.
Josh is absolutely right. Josh is 100% right.
No way.
Yeah. I mean, like, the distro can't sell collectors at their cost. That's a big freaking problem.
Yeah.
That's a big freaking problem.
My money would go to Kamigawa collectors.
They're going to have to cut back on collector booster boxes again, I think.
So what needs
to happen? They can't move them.
Distro needs to cut back on what they buy.
I don't think that's how it works, but I don't really know.
Yeah,
I don't want to speculate on business arrangements, but that is not my understanding of how it goes.
I don't know. Anyway, this set seems like it's doing nothing good. There's good cards in it though. That's the.
Is this real?
What?
I can get, if I buy a case of Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate, each collector box is $136.33.
Yeah. That is like
$90 less than I paid.
Yeah, like $90 less than I paid.
Roughly. Not exactly.
This is financial advice. That's the most investable set.
This is not financial advice. This is financial advice. Josh is going to get us all in trouble. This is not financial advice.
Why would that get us in trouble?
I don't know either, but everyone says it, so I'll say it.
Because Rudy says it.
Like, that is not why. Rudy did not start that. That is a actual saying that started long before Rudy was a twinkle in my eye.
Yeah, I think we have to say it. That was a joke. This is not financial advice.
Okay.
But if I were you,
So I think the problem with that set is like there's nothing in it. There's like no
What?
pulls.
Wait, and what?
Commander Legends. Legends.
We got the dragons.
Yeah, there's 5 cards that are good, and 2 of them are actually good. Anyway, and they're only good in Commander, so there's
That's
like
only
no
anybody plays anyway.
it's a commander set.
there's no other format to play the cards in. Anyway, yeah.
Louis, if I learned anything from your rant last week about Warhammer, all the D&D
Dude,
fans are going to cross over, and
first
it'll be
of all,
fine.
a Warhammer is pumping in my store.
It's your
Pumping.
first week.
Yeah, I know, I understand, but I was right.
Okay. So, are we going to get to the topic we agreed that we would never discuss?
Yes. How much should a new TCG? How many boxes should a new TCG print?
Wait,
that what we're
what?
doing?
That was not
What
at
are we
all the
What?
topic.
That is not
What's the topic? I don't remember. It's been so long.
Wow, you really shouldn't have drank 3 beers. How much should a box of cards cost from a new TCG?
Oh, that's right. I thought we were talking about print runs.
Box price.
We're talking about print runs.
We're avoiding print runs like the plague.
That joke will never not be funny. To me.
No, that's absolutely
it
true.
really was.
You're absolutely right about that. Let me be very clear. You're absolutely right about that.
That's how we handle our sadness.
You handle it through alcohol. I handle it through Coke
That's
and
not true. It's the first beer I've had all week.
Belviva water.
Oh,
Belviva
amateur.
water. Pure aqua sparkling
Okay,
water.
so how much should a box cost for a new TCG is the conversation.
Here is the most important thing and the only thing that matters. It has to cost less than Magic.
Yeah.
Both on a per box and a per pack basis.
Yeah. I think that consumers are rejecting the idea that packs of trading cards should be more than $4.
That's absolutely true.
True.
Like I think the
As a
base
consumer.
Except for collector booster packs, which
Yeah,
is
I'm talking
its own mystery.
the base version of
Sure.
a pack. I think the anything above that, it gets to like it's just not worth it.
Well-
It's just I don't know.
Well, we have a really interesting perspective on this podcast, right? Because George represents a successful store that's been booming for a while. I represent the average consumer, and Louis lies somewhere in between, right?
Louis represents like a failing store.
Yeah, you're somewhere in the middle. But from a store perspective,
That was the biggest burn that was unintentional ever.
no, it wasn't unintentional. I'm not a moron, George.
Louis just
Like,
got totally
you know what the problem with this whole like Louis stores failing conversation
other than
is?
you're financially ruined.
It's like
Whoa.
my store is actually pretty dang successful.
How's
How's that
cookie-
and I
How's
didn't
that
say your
cookie dough and
store was
alcohol
failing.
going, buddy?
I didn't say your store was failing at all. My point was, before I was rudely interrupted by Louis' feelings, was the fact that we get to talk about this
Josh,
from
don't cry.
both sides
Josh, don't cry.
from both sides of the counter. Now, as a consumer, when you introduce me to a new trading card game, it's definitely tough if it costs more than Magic. So I see where you're coming from. But you guys, I think what's more important than the cost is your margin.
Yeah, sure.
I'm still trying to have a realistic conversation.
How do you just continue to go through that? Before
What do you mean? 'Cause I'm a YouTuber. Try it sometime. Like, what do you mean?
Louis, all right, next week Josh is doing the intro. Maybe forever. I might retire.
Oh my gosh. How many views did you get this week, Josh?
Like 6.5.
You're welcome. I was the half.
Okay, I get it. Like, so you're saying that the price needs to be congruent.
So
You need to be able to
price
make money
is
as a
important to
store.
me. Yeah, price is important to me because, like George says, it's really hard for you to sell it to me if next to these major TCGs that I know what I'm getting, it's the same price, right? But for you guys, what matters is the margin. You have to make more money because you're going to sell less.
Here's what every new TCG needs to understand. Listen closely to Papa George. He's always good for you.
Stupid Papa George thing. Continue. I'm
gonna stick Josh on you again if you're not careful. So
I'm spicy this week.
I have never had anybody ever come into my store and ask me for anything not called Pokemon or Magic. That's not true. 99% true.
Yeah.
Sure.
You can count on very small numbers. The number of people who said, I want this game or that game.
Yeah.
They come in wanting Pokemon or Magic. I have to, as the store owner, say, no, that game sucks. Go play this instead.
Which we do. Not a lot of other stores do, but we do because we like new TCGs. We like the idea that there are new TCGs out there that are going to hopefully compete with Magic, because what we think is that the Magic the Gathering thing is not working for LGSs. They don't care about the LGS.
We already went over that. So I there's two things about that. First, if I'm like, hey, a set booster box of Magic is $120, and your box is $120 but has a third less packs, that's a hard sell. That's a hard sell. I don't have to tell you, try this new game. It's 33% more expensive, and I hope you like it. They know they're going to like Magic. They've played it for 5 years, and they have a commander group.
Right. They have somebody to play with. So
I have to convince you that you should pay me a lot more money for an unknown product that you know nobody that's ever played.
And doesn't have any value.
And has no value.
Yeah.
That's hard. Like, the one who nailed this is honestly Cryptic. Very reasonable price from distribution. Plenty of room for margin. Smaller print run is the rumor. They're doing what they can to help the LGS sell the boxes. A box has to be less than a Magic box. It has to.
So a box roughly needs to be less than $4 a pack for a draftish type thing.
Yeah.
And, with margin there for stores to make 20 to 30%, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, listen, and this is what I always tell people. If I'm going to sell you a game we did the most successful tournament of ever, Genesis, I have to not only sell you the box, I have to have somebody teach you the game.
Yeah.
I have to bring you into the fold.
Yep.
That costs me money.
Right.
Yes.
I have to give away a starter deck. That costs me money. Starter decks are free for them, not for me.
Right.
If you want to have a new TCG, you need to make it so that is cheap enough for consumers are willing to try it, in high margin enough to make it worth my risk. Because you know how I sell Pokemon? I put it on the shelf. You know how I sell Magic? I put it on the shelf and tell them, we're doing Commander. That's how I sell Pokemon and Magic.
Right.
You know how I have to sell MetaZoo? Hey, listen, this is a starter deck. Try it out. Here's a playmat. I built it myself because there's not enough playmats built. Here's this. Here's that. Come in and try it. You know how to do Genesis? Here's the world's largest playmat. One logo is amazing. One logo is atrocious. It looks like a pizza because it wasn't designed that well.
Pizza.
For the record, everyone, George gave me 3 hours to design that playmat.
And that's what you designed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3
Not
hours.
that great. So, it takes a lot more time and energy. You have to compensate me for that. Or I was just so Magic and Pokemon.
So, and I think the issue here is it's really hard for a game company to make a card game, pay for artwork, pay for the boxes and for shipping, and to keep the product under in this current world. It's really hard to do that, to keep the product under like a $3 for a pack for the store, for them to make money. That's really difficult right now.
That is all wrong.
That's not wrong.
That is a $72 booster box.
Sure, for 36 packs, right?
For 24 packs, you're
for 24 packs. I didn't even
have another beer before we do the math next time.
I didn't even do the math.
That follows. That is not that hard.
It is.
It's gotta be.
Can do it
because no one's doing it, so it can't be super easy, right?
$72 from distro for a 24 pack box.
72.24, $3 a pack. Sure.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you saying?
I'm saying a lot of games are doing that.
But there's less packs than Magic, right? Like I thought one of our things was we want to try to the same amount of packs.
But we're saying per pack,
on
dollar
a per
per pack.
pack base. Oh,
and it's not really. Yeah.
Okay.
I think my point is that it's difficult for new TCGs to do that. Now, TCGs that are selling thousands of boxes are able to do it, but it's hard to do that for like a truly new TCG.
I mean, like Genesis is by no means a multi-tens of thousand box game. I know Assad promised us he can announce the print run numbers on this podcast when he's ready to announce it. He did not actually say that, but like, but I mean, like
he already announced his print run numbers on the website
for Origins.
Scooby Scoops,
not for Origins, but like I think J2's up there.
Damn it, Assad, you lied to me in my head. So the like that box was way less than $3 a pack.
Yeah, no, you're right.
I know.
I think you guys highlighted another issue that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, go.
Oh, I think you highlighted another issue that has nothing to do with the price. Is both of you said, hey, when I sell these to people, I also have to. There has to be a community. There has to be people for them to play this game with. So I either have to sell it to a commander pod of 4, right, multiple people at once, or I have to have an established scene of people where when they open these cards and that experience is done and over, they can use them. So that's an additional challenge there with new TCGs.
The
How does that get
sale for every store, for every new TCG is the first.
Yes.
You have to get that first out of the way. And that person has to love the game. If your first sale is a disaster, you're screwed. Because that dude's going to walk around everywhere and tell everybody how much that box sucks.
Yeah.
True.
If that first sale is bad, you're in a bad spot.
The first, and here's my point. Like every single person who looks at that box is going to ask the question, oh, how much is that card worth? How much is that card worth? They're asking, if I spend $80, $90 on a box, will I get some value back? And the answer that everybody ever, trust me, I've done 5 learn to plays for 5 different games in my store. The answer everyone always says is, I have no clue. There's nowhere to buy or sell cards. So I think one of the major things that these game stores or these companies need to do is to find ways to make their singles available online, whether it be going to a store and they're doing this, like Genesis and Legions and all these games are doing it. MetaZoo's got it. Like stores who have singles before they were on TCG Player, they were doing it. Stores who sell singles so people can have a place to go look up values of cards.
Yes.
Why are you
you need some kind of basis.
Legions, Genesis, and MetaZoo. Like,
listen, MetaZoo and Genesis were beefing on Twitter. MetaZoo and Genesis were beefing on Twitter. So
we got Twitter beef?
Let me reiterate this. My favorite beef in human history is Genesis versus MetaZoo.
Listen, when Genesis and MetaZoo are now fighting on Twitter, that puts them in the same category. You can talk about them.
Are they still fighting? Are they still doing it?
I don't think so, but they were at one point.
Start it again. Mike, let's roll, baby.
I have a screenshot of it. It's there forever.
How was this not a topic on the podcast this week?
It was last season.
Yeah, it was last season before you were here. We were uglier. It was just me, George. Yeah, I guess net uglier.
Net uglier. The average was down. I mean, like, anywho, continue.
No, my point is, like, you need a place to look up cards and feel like you have value. And also, you need a place to be able to get singles without opening boxes. Nobody wants to spend.
That is, like, I'm going to talk about that in the Genesis bit, but that is a big problem.
Nobody wants to spend $700 opening 7 booster boxes to get 60 cards to play the game and then have 1 million cards extra.
No, but if you're able to sell to a group of people,
you have to have good starter products.
Yep.
Yes, that's sure.
That's it.
You have to.
Yep.
And I'll be frank, that is where a lot of these games could have some room for improvement.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. It would be nice to see a lot of these games come out with starter decks that stores could make with the commons, like commons, uncommons. Be like, hey, if you open up a bunch of singles to make to sell singles on your website or whatever, here's some starter decks that you can make.
I think that's good, but I also think you need to create the product yourself. Because, like, I'm not going to do that. I am not going to do that.
Yeah, that's fair. Because now I got to play my employee to do something.
I got to pay somebody to do this for me.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh, this comes into do you really?
This comes do this.
Well, like, I mean, I don't have time to do that. I don't have energy or
I'm at my
time.
store one day a week. I'm not going to build decks when I'm there.
Yeah. Today I made Warhammer.
Oh my god.
This has gone off the. We're talking Warhammer on this podcast
Nobody
now.
cares about Warhammer.
I can feel it. I can feel it coming.
My store's all in.
No,
Anyway,
they're not. They've been there for 3 days. Continue.
It's an interesting. It's interesting because it is so much easier to sell Magic and Pokemon.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
And this is why stores don't go to the new games.
100%.
I think if you are going, and this is probably a problem that we have on the podcast, if you're, maybe it's just me, if you're going to invest in a new TCG, you have to be all in with it. You can't, I maybe was wrong about this in the past. You can't be all in on every new TCG because there maybe isn't.
You went in on Grand Archive, Polywog, Soulforge.
That's true.
I know that's true.
That is a store though. That's different. That's
your take on the Lorcana thing last week, in light of you telling me you back Grand Archive. A pox on your house. A pox on your house, good sir.
Oh, okay. Are we doing Lorcana? Do you guys know
Yeah, let's do it. Add it in.
So you're not gonna like this, George.
We're not doing it next week. Didn't make the cut this week.
All right, we won't do it.
No, you can do it.
Did you see the video that they did at the Disney Summit?
Yes. If
It was
one
horrible.
more jackass sends me this video, they're gonna get blocked. I'm warning you right now.
Is that all it takes?
Okay.
Hold on, I'll be right back.
I will bet you 50 people sent me this video, and I'm not exaggerating.
It was horrible.
It was not horrible.
It was horrible.
How is that horrible that this guy has experience in the TCG space?
It was horrible.
Wait, explain your stupid video before you fud it up like always.
And it just wasn't it was not the production wasn't Disney.
Wait, what are you talking about?
The whole reveal video. Like the production wasn't.
Oh, that's what you're talking about?
Yeah, the production. This is my point. The production wasn't Disney level quality. And here's my take. Disney's not on the back of the cards, right? The production was not. I don't think Disney has as much of a input in this as you think it does.
Can everybody please go back to the first time we discussed Lorcana, and I specifically made the point to mention 80,000 times that this was a licensed product?
Right.
And apparently Louis doesn't know what those words mean because he can't read. But I'm hoping you viewers do. Don't gaslight me.
There's nothing to read.
Don't gaslight me.
I googled what that means this week.
I didn't.
Did
I
you
just
really?
continued to just go with. We don't know what it means, but we're gonna say it all the time.
You sent a meme with a definition, and I didn't know if you were trying to. I didn't know if you were trying to throw me off and make me look like a fool.
So my point is, I understand
that would have been brilliant, though. That would have been brilliant if I sent you the wrong definition and it
I'm ready. I'm ready for it.
So I understand that it's licensed, but the conversation on the internet is Disney's making a new TCG. Everyone go all in.
Get off of 4chan.
Get off Reddit. Get off Reddit.
My point is, I think Disney is way less involved than,
which
is going to be great for your later Scooby.
It's a licensed game.
You got to choose which Scooby you want to happen, because I think my point is good for your future Scooby.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Well, I don't know if we're saying it later. But it's
connect the dots, my friend.
We'll connect
this one's on you.
All right, let's move on. I
don't know what's going on right now.
That was a pointless Lorcana point.
You're doing a great job keeping us moving, by the way. Cheers to you, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Let's do cryptic Scooby, aka cryptic Facebook post.
No, I yelled at Tanner. I talked to Tanner today. I was like, Tanner, enough of this.
Tanner's got to learn to lean in, man. Keep doing it. I hope this drops on Facebook on Friday at 7:50 in the morning.
My favorite part.
I am 90% sure he's posting this tomorrow, so this will not be a Scooby Scoop by the time this airs.
My favorite part.
Kidding.
My favorite part of the cryptic side of this podcast has been that George doesn't ever let us know what the Scooby is, and it feels like the old MetaZoo minutes when I didn't know.
I love the old MetaZoo minutes. They were so good.
All right, what's the Scooby?
So first, Josh, I want to make a horrific correction to Louis' FUD last week.
Why is that your catch-all word?
Because that's all he does. Because why does he FUD everything?
Because other content creators did it to me, so now George has to do it. So he feels like he's a content creator.
That follows. The boxes from Cryptic are not late, as Louis said. They are actually on time or early.
Okay.
You said they were late, and they're not.
I said
That caused some fear, uncertainty. You did not. You said boxes, and that causes some fear, uncertainty, and doubt. FUD.
Okay. I apologize, everyone, if that's true.
Apologize to Tanner.
I apologize, Tanner.
He does not accept your apology. He told me earlier. So he did not say that.
I know.
So the booster decks are done today, and they're going to ship sometime this week. And this is what they're going to look like.
You could have just sent this guy the asset so he could pull up on the screen now.
Because it was just Spill My Scoopy Scoop.
All right, welcome back from the edit where you weren't here. We found out that George doesn't have Discord on his phone because he's a boomer.
I do. I don't know how to use it, though.
All right, so George sent me the images. So here's what you're actually seeing from George's not potato camera. Those look sweet. So these are like tuck boxes.
I don't know what we're seeing right now. Oh, those are the boxes. Yeah.
Yeah, the boxes you sent me on Discord.
You sent them. You know exactly what they're seeing.
I sent him 3 pictures.
So, George, do you remember how many different variants there are of this?
30.
You don't know if that's true.
No idea.
Okay.
I think it's like a lot more than that.
130, like I said.
He created an algorithm that puts these decks together, and so they're like booster packs, but in deck form that has an algorithm that like puts the deck together that makes it fun.
And each one, and some are going to have like the super rare cards. Some are going to have like
Well, and this is exactly what you're saying is a cheap entry product that you can.
Yes.
These are like $7, $8, $10. It's easy for somebody to pick it up and play, and it's pretty cheap for a store to be like, hey, here's a free one if you want to buy a booster box later or whatever.
And we're going to have a subscription service. I made those to be with you for Cryptic.
Yes, we are.
Scoopy Scoop.
Yeah, Scoopy Scoop for you guys with maybe even promo cards, I believe. So really cool thing. I'm a huge fan of this product. This is one of the things that Tanner and I talked about, I think, off camera when we did the interview with Cryptic originally. And I thought this is what sold me on the game when he told me about it. So really cool stuff. Stoked about it.
I
those
totally
look
remember
sweet.
that.
Man, that nail is really red. the red nail really throws me off.
Also, all these products are made in America.
I don't think that's true.
The decks are.
The decks are?
Yeah, thank you. Please apologize to America.
Oh, well, I think the other cards are printed in Canada.
Yes, they are, but the decks are made in America.
That's cool. That's a Scoopy. Why isn't
these colors don't run?
All the Canadian stuff says made in Canada. They've got the maple leaves on it. Do these have a USA flag at least?
If not, they should.
Yeah, they should.
If not, I'm going to paint one on every box I sell.
No, you're not. You're not going to work that hard. I know you.
George's employees are about to paint an American flag on every box.
Tyler, I got a job for you, baby.
That's super cool. Look great.
And they sent you the back to the card.
I showed it already. I showed all that. You missed it. Yeah. Looks really cool.
True.
Good work, Cryptic. I feel like we never have anything negative to say about Cryptic.
Well, they're not doing anything wrong.
Tanner, stop giving George Scoopies.
What? No, Tanner, so help me God.
Instead of me.
That is something negative to say.
Tanner, so help me God.
My phone has not rang once for a Scoopy. How funny would that be?
Tanner, so help me God if you give Josh the Scoopies.
Oh, that's totally happening. I know Tanner. He likes the meme of this. That's not Tanner. You understand that, right?
No, I know, but it's just something
Tanner, I know who you are.
Oh, by the way, should we go to Genesis right now? Because we've called Assad like 8 times, and what we learned at your Genesis event is that
that's not his name.
That's how you pronounce
it. Wait, what?
This is how nice he is. I called him the wrong name for 2.5 years, and he's never once corrected me. I'm not kidding.
It's a Sid, right?
It's a Sid.
A Sid. Yeah. Sorry, a Sid.
Wow. Sorry.
Yeah. Jerks. Bunch of jerks.
I don't know if I've ever said Assad into a microphone, but Asid, you can do better.
Speaking of
better than his name.
Oh,
no, you can do better than George. You can do better than George.
That's not how that came out.
God.
Speaking of jerks.
That was a Scoopy Scoop.
Speaking of jerks, George, how was your Genesis event?
The largest ever Genesis event in the land of freedom. Thank you very much.
Good job.
If only a compete sport. Okay. I got a lot to say about this. Let's go through it all. Look less interested, please.
Don't roll your eyes nearly as hard next time, Louis.
We weren't there, so go ahead.
Well, you're never there. You don't go anywhere. We know this. That's not news. It's news when you do go somewhere.
Look, man,
fly us out.
I got kids. I'm not flying.
We're personalities.
So you're not. So the All right. First, let me give my big shout outs. You will never, ever find a better community than the Genesis community. Ever. A Sid came down for the circuit. Joe G, one of the top rated players, came down.
Is this who you beat?
Got him. Something tells me he wasn't playing his competitive deck. If I were a betting man, we'll go over that in a minute. Jordan, the Scheming Skeleton, who I have the Bone Zone with and is a good friend and a big Genesis YouTuber, came down. Eric L., who is a Chrono Walker's YouTube, came down. Like, it was great. And they all were super into onboarding new players, and people had questions. They were helping them out. You will never find a better community than the Genesis community.
Great.
Super awesome. They deserve a lot of props. They came down, like they were very kind to new players. We had just had a graduation the day before, actually. So we had some new military people playing the game for the first time. It was great. It was wonderful. Great time. They could not have been any kinder if they tried.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, really great community. I learned a lot about the game. The first thing I learned was
how to play.
Mainly how to play.
That's actually not the most important thing I learned. The most important thing I learned is to never let Jordan build your deck.
Makes sense.
Yeah. That was.
He's not gonna like this, but sure.
That's some podcast beef.
Well, I know that you taught Jordan about Genesis, so I think he owes. That's really good. I think.
I don't think that's the way it went.
That is not the way it worked. That's the way you said it at that time. And he never.
Sorry, Jordan.
So he had this terrible call cold right hook in his deck. That's not really important. I understand why Genesis has problems growing now. Here was my biggest takeaway from a store owner / player perspective. The way the grid and game works, there isn't an autopilot deck.
Yeah.
There's not a dummy deck. There are games.
There's not a red deck wins that you have two mana.
Right.
The way I view it is like
two things.
Let's look at MetaZoo. Like a solo blue mana deck. I can pilot that.
Red deck wins, just like Louis said in Magic.
Yeah. I mean, like, I can pilot that. They don't have a dummy deck because there's too many things to think about. You have to figure out what are you going to move? Are you going to rotate? Are you going to do these things?
Yeah, and you forget you can do those things.
Yeah. That makes the game two things. It makes the game inherently more challenging. It's the most challenging TCG I've ever played. It also makes it by far the most engaging.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have never, you guys always mock me, but I have played my fair share of TCGs. I have never had one that made me think like Genesis made me think. I can absolutely see why the Genesis group is so in love with the game. It's hard. You have to think.
It's like it's like reading a thick book, or it's like reading Lord of the Rings, right? Like, a lot of people won't start doing it because of the size of the book and the depth that you need to go through it.
Yeah, that's exactly a good analogy.
But once you get into it and you're halfway through, you're like addicted to it. You're like, this is the greatest thing ever done.
I would absolutely play again. I would use Joe's deck, not Jordan's deck, but I would absolutely play again.
So we did some learn to play. We've done some learn to play events. We're doing Genesis every Thursday at the shop. So there's like a small group of people that get together and play and really enjoy it. And I think it's a very similar thing. It's hard to figure out because there's so many options to do. It's not just play a card and your turn's over. It's like you're rotating, you're moving, you have to move and then play a card, and there's all these things. It's and this is one of the things I've always said. This is why a lot of Euro gamers who like Euro board games really like Genesis. The Genesis is really successful in Europe and in it's like got a lot of like the beta boxes, a lot of the beta scene and that kind of thing come from Europe because the game was pretty successful pretty early on.
I mean, that was where the second largest circuit was held.
Yeah. It's super interesting. Oh, I get it. I see what you did. The second largest. Yeah, that's funny.
Not
So I
in
think-
South Carolina.
They get props for that because that's, I think, extremely important. Now, do they need something that maybe grabs the attention, is a little bit easier to pilot, so you can have that step to take up to that complexity? Yes, I believe so. But I think what a lot of games often miss is you feel like you master it, you put it down, you don't have anything to dig into. The fact that there's so much to chew on, where if you do get hooked, it's less likely to let you go, is huge.
I thought about my moves all night, and I've never had that happen before.
Mm.
I thought about my
college.
misplays for a very long time.
Yeah.
I don't think you can build an autopilot deck with these mechanics.
Yeah, just the moving itself. It's not. It can't be auto done.
I think what they need to work on, they need to find an easier way to build decks. The deck building apparatus is completely unacceptable.
I don't know if you can work on that. One of the things I don't like about it is the max, and this is like MetaZoo has a similar issue. The very like not having a set number of cards per like that card. Like MetaZoo, it scales, it goes to different cards. Like some cards you can have 10 of or whatever. But Genesis being able to, it's a chi system, so it's like a lot like Warhammer. Like you just have a set number of.
God,
what
would be insufferable. To
Any
Warhammer
chance
now.
to name drop
God
Warhammer in this
almighty.
episode is just.
Oh my lord!
You have a set. That's what it's based off of. Like that's the.
Tell
first
me you
game to
started
do that.
carrying Warhammer without telling me you started carrying Warhammer.
I have used this reference before talking about this game without ever carrying Warhammer. So
that might be true.
screw you both. All right.
Okay.
Now,
Hi, Ruby.
but that makes it difficult to get cards, man. Like I had to get 10. My deck list had 10 Death's Companions in it, and like it's hard to track down 10 of the same card in a world where not that many people have Genesis.
My deck had nothing but right hooks in it. I don't know how many right hooks Jordan had to buy off the secondary market, but like he bought them all. My deck was nothing but right hooks.
Yeah, so it makes the game hard to pick up, which is definitely a struggle.
So, yes, I do think they can make some software to make deck building easier. I think they can do that. They need to do that.
They just hired a software stack.
Yeah. They like that's something I think they need to work on. They also let's go back to the starter kits. They need to get better starter kits.
I think they need to
cover more things.
I think
Like,
they need to. Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I'll go ahead and go.
They need to have the buzzwords on a card in the starter kit. Like there was a lot of words on that card. Oh, by the way, I might have gotten the tiger card wrong last week on the podcast. I might have not exactly nailed what it does. Very close though. And they need to get the buzzwords on a card that you can have in front of you with your turn order.
Yeah.
And that's easy to fix, and they can fix that. I mean, like I left with a much better appreciation for Genesis. It was every bit as balanced as everybody told me it was. It was every bit as engaging as everybody told me it was. Every hero champion plays very, very different. Like no champion was alike. It was a blast. I had a great time. It was really an honor to host that event. I was blown away by the gameplay, and I think it's for like the people who like hard games. I think it's for like the brainiacs. You're not gonna. This is easily the
Spit
most
it out.
encompassing TCG I've ever played.
Yeah, I agree.
Don't tell me to spit it out. I'll take my time if I want to. Gosh.
So, do you think that this could be solved? So, something I've been advocating for, especially with new TCGs for some time over on my channel, is this concept of like the learn to play experience. And something that always stuck with me from the starter edition in Magic the Gathering is decks that come to you. And it's a cultivated play experience where the first 4 turns of the game, you don't shuffle the decks. And out of the factory, the top 12 cards are in the same order every time, and the rest of the deck is shuffled. And there's some tool that walks you through the first 4 turns of the game and then lets you loose into the wild. Yeah. Is this a harder game that could benefit from a program like that, where it takes the players, shows them kind of everything that can be done in 5 turns, and then lets go?
Yes. I think because like the hardest part for me was understanding how the buzzwords interacted. Like, when can you do a swift attack? When can you do an action attack? When can you do these things? And what, how often can I move? Why does this guy get to move more than my guy gets to move? Yeah. Like, but I mean, like, once I understood it, I mean this, it was a really amazing experience playing the game.
Yeah, I agree, Josh. Like, that would be a really good thing that they should do. I think video is the perfect mechanic for that. Like, have
video's great. A little fold out that comes in the box, whatever it might be, whatever you got to do.
Yeah, a video that says, all right, now the second player, you're going to play these cards. This is why you're playing these cards. This is what these cards do. Here's the order. And it's a 20-minute video of it. If you were sitting down in the room with the person playing, how you would play it. That's a good idea. And
on a topic of buzzwords, like it's a pain point for new TCGs, man, but you got to just spell it out. You got to spell it out.
You have a million of them. These new TCGs, they come out, they have a million buzzwords.
Like we got to remember, everyone looks at Magic. Well, Magic's got a trillion buzzwords. Yeah, but it's 30 years of buzzwords stacked. When it started, these buzzwords weren't buzzwords. They weren't a thing. Every effect was spelled out. When a creature had trample, the effect of trample was spelled out on the card. New TCGs need to lean into that. And then once they grow, let's implement some buzzwords maybe.
Yeah, I mean, so I had one of my competitors, one of my local competitors, come to my event. He's a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, and he brought some of his players over too, and like he had a great time. He top eighted, which was infuriating.
Something that you didn't do.
I had a better record than my store manager, and that is all that matters to me.
That follows.
Yeah. And he said the same thing. He's like, listen, like, it's taking off at his store, like it's taking off at my store. It just, you have to find that person in your store who's willing to take the time to commit to teaching somebody what it means to deck build for Genesis and what it means to play Genesis.
Sure.
If you find that person, if you find that champion, no pun intended, your store is going to be in a great spot.
Yeah. And that's true for every TCG. Every TCG.
Every TCG. Yeah. That's true for Magic.
True for Pokemon.
Nobody plays Pokemon, but yeah,
that's not true, dude.
I've seen a couple people play Pokemon last week. Actually,
we started Pokemon a couple weeks ago. We have between 8 and 15 people every week for Pokemon.
That's wild.
We have more people consistently for Pokemon, I would say, than Magic. I mean, people come in and play Commander and stuff, but like at our events, no, like if we do a Friday Night Magic,
Josh and I just had another entire conversation.
If we have a Friday Night Magic, occasionally like there'll be 10 people there and 6 of them want to play Friday Night Magic and 4 of them want to play Commander or whatever it is. Like for Pokemon, they always are just there for the event, so it's a little different. But whatever, you two, I hate you both. Gosh, this podcast used to be fun.
All right, and you had it. Yeah. They got to fix the software, but I'm assuming they're going to do that with the new stack designer. If you're in Louis' Discord, first of all, good job. And if not, you should be in Louis' Discord.
Thank you, patrons.
You should be giving Louis, like, I think it's $80 a month. Is that right? $200 a month?
$5 a month.
Oh, $5 a month. That's my bad. You should be giving
it feels like more.
It does.
Wow.
You should join Louis' Discord, and there's a great Genesis group there.
Yeah, fantastic.
And they always do learn to play. Awesome. They always do that. Jordan's Discord, another great one. His is free because he's, he cares about the community a lot. And there's a great Genesis community in there too. Scheming Skeleton. Join one of those two communities or join both. And I mean this. Everybody owes it to themselves to learn Genesis. I wish I learned sooner. It is. I will probably go up for another Genesis event. I enjoyed it that much.
Yep.
And I'm not doing it just like the big events, right? Like I always go to the big events because people want to beat me, and that's fine. But like I really, really enjoyed my time playing the game.
Yeah.
And shout out to Asid for coming in. He helped us get the cards we needed. We turned in our recycling for our packs. If you're opening Origins, you can send in your recyclings to him and get sweet promos, including the Tiger, which I explained in detail last week. It was great. I had a great time, great event, had a lot of fun. It was great meeting Eric. It was, me and Jordan had never met each other in person.
Wow. Me and Jordan have had pizza together, so.
Me and Jordan have not had pizza. We had pizza together twice.
There you go. All right.
Yeah, it was great.
Great. Let's move on. Made in China, the sorcery story.
Go ahead, Louis.
So sorcery had their update today. And here's a brief synopsis of a lot of the things that they talked about. Here are the highlights. They have they've delayed again. So now we're looking at January or February. China is printing, which is a thing we'll talk about here. They invested in a Chinese printer, and got them to upgrade like their sorting and their packaging and all the stuff there to make the packaging and stuff better. And that's like the big thing. And then they're doing other things like a roadmap with more frequent updates. And then they're adding packs to each Kickstarter box. So I think originally it was supposed to be 36 packs. Now it's going to be 39 packs in each Kickstarter box.
I don't think those numbers are correct, just so we're clear.
Okay.
But I don't know.
I think it is because I'm looking at it right now. My notes.
Bless.
Yeah. So, and I think they're also adding a pack to the precons maybe. So that is the update for sorcery. What are your guys' thoughts?
Josh?
George,
no,
we all know what you're gonna do.
No, we all know what George is gonna do, so I'll jump in here. As the arbiter of truth and balance and fairness for this podcast.
Unless it's Magic the Gathering.
I'm
Unless it's MetaZoo. Continue.
Don't. We're a lot of what you're saying right now is going to be repeated by me.
I've said nothing. I've said literally nothing.
I know why you said nothing.
I'm going to reserve judgment here, and not because I like watching you two duke it out and it makes me giggle, but because the big thing that's going to stick out here is the printing. And we've talked about, the race to print on time, the quality of cardstock, and especially with sorcery, the foiling. And I'm going to reserve judgment until the card is in my hand, because there's going to be a lot of stigmas that come with the change in print, somewhere in China. So whatever it might be, I want to reserve judgment until the card comes out, because maybe there's a chance they surprise us, right? If the card stock comes out and the card stock is fantastic and the quality looks fantastic, I don't care where it's printed. Now, on the same vein, if it comes out and looks horrible and feels terrible, this is a decision point that we can look back on where it all went wrong, right?
Yeah, I agree with that. Like this. So to your point there, the card stock is sourced. If I'm understanding what they said in the video correctly.
Sure.
Why? Where are you going?
Oh, please keep going. My dog is trapped. Go ahead.
My dog is trapped.
My dog was.
I thought he was going to point out the fact that I just Louis'd there, as I jumped on both sides of the fence and just.
Well, that's true, but I'm assuming the viewer was smart enough to figure that out on their own. That you're.
So they had already purchased the card stock, and they are transferring that card stock, to the Chinese printer, and then upgraded the packaging system at the Chinese printer.
Well, sure, but that's only part of the equation, right?
But it's a massive part of the
card stock. Yeah, but what's printed on the card stock still has to look
100%
good, right?
I agree with that.
So
Why are you laughing, George?
It's half the equation. George, you look like you're itching to go, and instead of letting us go back and forth, no, please.
What was inevitable? This was inevitable. This is what a fat man in a Hawaiian shirt has been saying for months.
I have never worn a Hawaiian shirt, sir.
That is not what you've been saying.
I have said for months that they're going to have to print this in China or somewhere like
true.
that. That's all I'm saying. Like that's what I've been saying. I think sorcery now has a big marketing problem. I mean this. I know you're like, oh, George is fudding sorcery. I don't carry sorcery. I don't like. I'm not fudding it up. I don't. Doesn't like. I hope they succeed.
Dang it, we got to remember to call.
Why didn't I say FUD?
FUD master.
FUD.
But like, you can't be a boutique or boutique, as the 1%ers say it. You can't be a boutique high-end TCG while printing in China. That's not a thing. Like, there's a reason the highest end games use Card of Monday.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
This has like I remember you're like, oh, you're saying you're not gonna get the boxes, and I always said, no, you're gonna get your boxes. The question I have is, where are they gonna print them? Because there's nobody has time except for China.
Yeah.
Like, this is like they need to like. I would have delayed.
Tell me why that matters.
It matters because like I don't trust the foiling.
What
whole thing about their cards has been the foiling looks amazing.
That has not been the whole thing. That I reject that statement. That has not been the whole thing about the cards.
It's not the whole thing, but it's a major aspect.
What is it like? What else is there?
The
paper quality,
the artwork,
but the art looks good because it's printed well.
Right, but that has nothing. That is not the foiling. I agree. Foiling is another conversation, but the artwork being on display is the sales pitch.
I think they have a marketing problem now. I do. I think this is a problem.
I think there's going to be negativity because
of course there is.
We see this with MetaZoo and
MetaZoo.
Yes.
But like in MetaZoo's defense, they're not saying I will only there's like MetaZoo's sale is basically one-fold. I'm going to have the coolest foiling. It might not be the highest quality foiling. I'm going to have more printer errors. I'm going to have these collation issues that have plagued MetaZoo, but I'm going to have the coolest looking cards on the market. Like, remember when we had the Nightfall glow in the dark box? How awesome that was. It still is.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Distro's dumping it. Remember like the Wilderness boxes where they had the full hollow box and how awesome that looked, and it still does. Even though Distro's dumping it. Yeah. Bingo. Like, it looks like that is what MetaZoo's sales pitch is.
I agree that the made in China bit works much better for a game like MetaZoo and the style approach of MetaZoo. But I
think this is a problem, man.
Here's what I think is super important. Does the printer produce high quality art on the cards? And on top of that, do the foils look as good as that foil sheet that we highlighted 3 or 4 weeks ago on the podcast? If they're remember on this podcast, and I said I would feel a lot more confident about sorcery if they would announce where they're printing. This is why you got that right.
Of course I did. Who printed that foil sheet they showed all around?
I'm going to continue until we see things. I'm going to continue to put my trust.
Yeah, great take.
What?
I did the same thing. This is a great take.
Until we see things, I'm going to continue to put I believe that they wouldn't have done all the work that goes into the different foil. They literally have 2 full-time graphic designers that have gone through all the cards to put different layers on the foiling and do all this stuff. They would not have done that if they were just going to be like, well, we're going to print foils that don't utilize that and don't look good.
But they would have. They would have if their vision for this was to never get to this point. If their vision to this was to never get to this point when they hired those graphic designers to make the foiling, then when the time came to press the button and launch the rocket, right? Things have to change. This happens in software engineering all the time. You have this grand vision of everything that's going to go on, and as you approach a deadline, things have to get dropped off, and previous portions of the project that were increasingly important all of a sudden don't make the cut. The problem is there can be a scenario where they're feeling the pressure of multiple missed launches, which we've said on this podcast, and to your credit, you've claimed is totally fine. Like, miss the launch and do it right. We all said that, right?
George,
but
I did.
Okay, yeah, I actually think he did.
Yeah,
I am willing to dogpile on George right now because he has been very mean to me, but I think he did.
What does he mean to you?
I've been giving you nothing but props this episode.
George, do you want me to go back through and edit the whole episode and take out all the times you were mean to him so it just looks like he was mean to you?
That'd be great.
Like I did a couple months ago.
Oh
That was the best. We're like, you were really mean to Louis. I'm like, wait, what did he edit?
But the little bit of online presence I have is gone. It's more. But so yeah, I think it could just be dropped. Sorry, go ahead.
I think that sorcery had I want to see what that roadmap looks like. I want to see increased communication. George, I agree with you. Like, it's not great to have two announcements and one of them be, hey, we're delaying everything. The next announcement be like, hey, we're delaying everything again and we're switching printers. Like, I would like to see daily, weekly. I've said this about almost every TCG. I want to see a blog where it's the creator.
I want my Polywog updates continue, Louis.
This is what I did today. This is what we did. This is the process. I think that would be super interesting.
I've learned something about communication and stuff like this. And when there is none, it's probably because you wouldn't like the results.
Yeah,
right.
Of course.
So there's probably a reason there's been less communication about this until the last moment. Bless you.
I don't know how the cards are going to look. Nobody does. No, like okay. So let's walk this back a little bit. Let's be more intentional here. The artwork that they produce is still amazing. We can all agree on that.
Yeah.
Check.
We don't know how we produce, and we certainly don't know about the foiling. But I don't think that's not my argument. My argument is, even if it looks amazing, they're going to have a perception problem.
What do you mean?
Their whole thing was that it's going to be this upper echelon game, this boutique card game. That's what they call themselves, a boutique card game. That they're going to have the highest end product. That's what that Louis, look at your last stream on your channel for the thing. They're like, we haven't found a partner that we like for the sleeves because we haven't found one that's good enough yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't on the one hand say that and then say we're going to print in China.
I think
there's
first
a reason Magic doesn't, Pokemon doesn't. There's a reason they don't.
I think that the one caveat to this is that they've upgraded the machinery in China. And listen, a lot of things are produced in China, and there are, we talked
everything
about
I own is made in China. I own nothing in my house is not made in China.
Let me finish. We talked about this once with, I think it was like with the MetaZoo sample cards when they got when all this reprinting or whatever was going around on them. That there is an entire part of the city is just printers, and there's 1,000 printers who print media, and there's all different layers of what kind of print media exist in China. Why are you hiding, Josh?
I was fixing my pants.
I thought you were hiding from something.
No,
you do that. But my point is,
I do.
We have seen one game that has come out and said our printer is in China. Yeah. Frankly, I like MetaZoo cards more than I like cards from the Canadian printers that we see. I think they feel better, especially the UFO cards. They feel better than. They feel better than Genesis and Legion's cards, which are printed at the same printer. No offense to those games.
I actually agree with you, but I would not say that they have there's two things I would say about this. First is that MetaZoo had one hell of a learning curve about this.
For sure. They
had rough collations for the first few sets. We saw the fakes that came out that were good enough to be graded by PSA. That's going to happen now.
And BGS,
let me walk that back. That could very easily happen now.
And every other grading company that's ever existed.
And including your favorite one.
Not, but okay.
Yes, they did.
SGC, right? They did.
Yeah.
Yeah. They did Continue.
I just think when somebody said I'm going to print a very high end TCG, we'd all assume it came from Cardamonde, and they did too, which is why they wanted to go there.
Right.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know. This has always been my fear with all of these Kickstarter games. Are they ready?
Yeah.
And clearly, Sorcery wasn't.
Yeah.
They're still they just came up they just updated the rule book a week ago.
For this situation, clearly they got that wrong. That doesn't mean that they weren't ready for Kickstarter, George.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't. Stop it. You can't. Okay, so you make one mistake. You ordered too much
No.
Modern Horizons. Stop. So you ordered too much Modern Horizons 2, so you made a mistake. So you weren't ready to be a game store.
Let me be very
You
clear here.
cannot
I
order too
did
much
not
Modern
order
Horizons
too
2.
much Modern Horizons
You
2.
can-
Sorry, this is why
it
you're a
is
bad
impossible.
ATS.
You ordered too much Commander Legends. Baldur's Gate.
Everybody did.
I
Actually, I
even I
ordered
did.
one box.
So that doesn't mean that you're not ready to own a
Louis,
game store.
I didn't ask you to fund it. I didn't say, Louis, give me your money and then I'll ship you the product. I lost my money on Baldur's Gate. I'm allowed to do that.
So
If they wanted to fund the game, they can do whatever the hell they want. But if you're coming to me to ask me for my money, I expect you to have the rule book a heck of a lot further along. I expect the cards to not have to be tweaked, and I expect you to know when you're going to print your boxes, or at least figure out who's going to print your boxes.
Yeah.
This was not ready.
I see, like, you and I intrinsically have a different view of what Kickstarter is. Go and look at what the vision of Kickstarter is and what the goal of Kickstarter
That's great. Go and look at this. Go and look at their Kickstarter and tell me their ship date. Will you please, when you're done with that?
Oh my gosh.
It's probably updated.
No, they leave on what they were supposed to be.
Okay.
But like that is like Kickstarter is supposed to be, hey, help a company get their feet going so that they can accomplish the goals and run into that.
This has fallen, like they were not ready for this. And like, I want to be also very clear here. I don't think this is entirely their fault. I don't think they expected to raise $4 million.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
Printing 28.
I don't think it's fair to say they weren't ready.
Of course they weren't. Printing 28,000 booster boxes is exponentially harder than printing 2,000
I agree.
or 4,000.
Yep.
Like, that is not their fault. But I've been saying this the whole time. This is why they should have been communicating the whole freaking time. Because now they just dropped a bomb and it's late.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, hopefully they continue to communicate more, as that's what they said in the.
I'm disappointed. I'm not a backer, but I'm disappointed. Maybe I did.
You are a backer.
I don't think that's true. I don't know if that's true or not. I'll be honest. I don't remember. But like, it doesn't matter.
I'm the only one here with no bags.
I thought
I'm a big backer.
Of course you are. That and Grand Archive. Every
other game on
and
Kickstarter last year.
Pollywog. And did you do Maelstrom too?
No, I did not do Maelstrom.
That's too bad. How you waiting for Pollywog? Is that coming out soon? You think?
No. That
really
is a scenario where somebody was not ready for this. Like, here's what I know. What? Here's what I know. Sorcery will figure out how to get the highest possible quality for the game. They will figure out the dynamics of doing it.
Why do you have that much faith? Like, what about this experience has given you that faith?
I just do, man. Like
what about this has led you to believe that this time I'm super serious, you guys, I'm gonna nail it?
It's not about me nailing it. It's about like the company, like he has he like things that he doesn't say that I know of. Like he invested all of his personal money in the artwork before the Kickstarter ever, like millions of dollars into the artwork before the Kickstarter ever even launched. Like, this is a passion project for him. This is his dream. It's not going to just like go up in flames. It might have roadblocks. It might not be the absolute most stunning thing that we ever dreamed it would be, but like, it's going to be a good thing. It's going to be a success. And it's to say that they're not ready for it because of what is a major roadblock.
Because they changed their printers after the date they were supposed to ship, and because they have rulebook level 0.6 and they're still adjusting cards. They weren't ready.
Being not ready for something means that they give up on it and they don't produce anything.
That's not what that's not what those words mean, just so we're clear at all.
First of all,
what?
When you say somebody's not ready for something, it means that they're not going to be able to figure it out.
No,
not
that's
going to be able to accomplish it.
That is not what words mean at all.
Okay, I disagree with you.
What?
Well, first,
what?
Like, I think like they're still going to produce a great product. That's my point. They are going to work. Yes, it's going to be made in China, and that's not going to be as great of a product. You know what? I'm disappointed that it's not made in the new Texas warehouse of Carter Monday and made in the USA. I want a USA sticker on it.
Me too, baby. These colors don't run. Continue.
You know, like, it's just different, man. Like, I think you and I just have a different perspective of what that means. I think
like the bottom,
yeah,
guys. The bottom line here is one thing and one thing only, right? We could go back and forth on this all day. This is an issue, however, that has a chance to affect something we all agree and we've all talked about on this podcast being the most important thing for these new TCGs, and that is your first impression, right?
Yeah,
this is a problem that has a chance to affect that. So, if this change has been made, it has to be right. So whether it's Louis' faith in the company or George's analytical approach to kind of things that have happened with those printers in the past, it's going to take one of those two roads, and it's going to be a pivotal point in Sorcery's history, so no matter how you look at it.
So here's what Sorcery should do tomorrow, and I'm serious about this. I know they listen. I'm actually going to talk to them this week, hopefully. Spread the love around. I want some scoopy scoops. You should just be mean to things. They call you. So,
jeez, Louis.
Like, they should absolutely they should disclose who the printer is in China. They should disclose what printing press or printer they bought for it, and they should disclose how they're going to cut it.
Yeah.
They should give as much detail into this process to get some stability and confidence back as they possibly can. They should, instead of not sharing for weeks and be like, oh, we're moving to China, they need to share everything now.
Yeah.
And I mean every freaking thing. I want to know how you're cutting your cards. I want to know how you're printing your cards. I want to know your foiling process. I want to know who produces your foil. I want to know everything.
I am interested to see if, like, the foiling process, could they have the foils printed at the same place that they had that test sheet done, and then move those cards to have them collated in? That's an interesting take.
We need to know that.
I think none of that. I mean, I think that's a good thing for them to do to have more transparency. Honestly, though, none of that matters, because they could say this is the way that it's going to be done, and that the China printer could do it differently and not have. You could quality assure the first 1,000 boxes that come out. Let me finish. You could quality assure the first 1,000 boxes that come out, but at the end of the day, if the final product isn't good, none of that matters. And so,
if Eric's not in China during this printing process, they need to really take a look in the mirror.
Yeah,
Eric should, like, you told me he's this huge mega alpha Magic the Gathering whale. Sell one of those lotuses. Get yourself a ticket. If it's your passion project, follow through. You need to be in China the entire time these boxes are printed. I mean, that's what it means. That's what it takes. Like, you have to, like, I expect that from the Canadian printers. Like, if this is your passion project, this is what it means. You have to follow through on that passion. If not, you're a passionate art designer.
Yeah. That's right.
Like, if you want to do this right, you need to get your butt into the printers every single day. This is on the line.
Yeah.
Like, this is not like, I mean, like, they have a chance to still make this a success, but they have to start changing the way they're doing things. They have to now overshare.
I think I am passionate about the idea of somebody fulfilling their passion.
I know it's rare for you.
Their passion project.
Polywalk.
Somebody who, like, I just don't see, like, I don't know. I see it differently than you. Like, I don't see how he would not make sure that this is a great quality product.
Great. And Louis, I hope you're right. I want a picture of Eric every day in China at the printing press. I do.
Creepy. That's creepy.
I take a selfie every day. This is what the sheet is on the line today.
Thank
Doesn't
God
this look
you
cool?
don't have kids. Your poor kids.
What are you wearing, Eric?
This is exactly how you would talk to your kids.
So let's move on and talk about MetaZoo, guys. MetaZoo has recently announced a big super secret collab that nobody knows anything about. George has his theories, but nobody knows anything about. So with this news dropping, guys, Who do you think the collab is with?
So they said, buckle up, in the next 2 weeks, we'll be announcing new collaborations that are bigger than anything we've done before.
That's
Josh
who you think
just
the
said
collab is
this.
with?
It's
You think the collab
exactly
is
that.
with? You think the collab is with that sentence? That's a pretty low level
All
collab.
right. So interesting note here. He didn't say partners. He didn't say we are announcing new partners that are bigger than anything we've done before. It's collaborations.
LGSs or partner LGSs.
Well, they used to
And
say partners with PSA and partners with eBay and partnered with blah blah blah.
And plus, I am giant and heavy. I would be the biggest partner they could get. I'm huge.
So my question is, George, do you think that this is a collaboration? Like this is going to be products with, I don't know, a bigger Revive skateboards? Like
No.
Or do you think this is a like big and
Listen, if the rumors I'm hearing are true, I'm going to be very clear here. I don't know this. My source is not Mike. It is not somebody from MetaZoo.
It's me.
This is a very big collaboration. I suspect, I don't know this for sure. This is not from the Scoopy Scoop. This is not from my source. I suspect it will have to deal with the TV show if I were a betting man.
yeah, I would hope so.
Ooh,
I keep hearing they have a absolute banger of a partner lined up for the TV show.
Yeah. Do you want to share who that is?
I do not.
Makes it awkward when we're.
I don't know why you added this part. I told you in the
What did you
intro
want
that
to
this
do?
was. I told you that this is something I could not discuss publicly, and you added it anyway.
You can't discuss it because you think that it's so true that you're gonna let the cat out of the bag.
I'm saying I think it would get somebody in trouble because I think there's a very few people who know this.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh, use the word no. So with it being centered around the TV show, this is huge, right? Because the MetaZoo TV show and the MetaZoo video game and stuff like that is the next really big step.
He did,
So
but he did not tell me it was part of the TV show. Let me be very clear here. He told me.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
No, but you said it into a microphone, so it must be true. And now I know it's facts and it is the word of law. But no, if it is about the TV show, that's going to be hype, especially if they get the chance to announce it at Comic-Con. Like at Comic-Con about the MetaZoo TV show, this is a big one. Like buckle up for this bad boy.
I mean this. If what I'm hearing is right, you're going to want to be at Comic-Con. If you're a MetaZoo fan. Oh, this is a terrible segment. Let me give you a much better segment. If you love MetaZoo, and I know you do, everybody does, go watch Andrew Stax's opening of the Hero Quest CDs if you just want to have a smile on your face the entire time. That was easily my favorite MetaZoo content ever.
Yeah.
He opens the CDs and is just like giddy every time he opens the pack. It was amazing. He is such a great MetaZoo fan. Shout out to Andrew Stax.
Yeah. Good shout out. So here's what this can't be, in my opinion, is a product. Like these two things, if they come out and it's like, hey, we're
agree.
We're
I agree
partnering,
completely.
we're collaborating with, I don't know.
Well,
Banksy.
one can be. One can be a throw. One can be I'm partnering with George and making a line of Hawaiian shirts.
Well, that would be not anywhere close to the current partners they have.
The other one has to be something really a banger.
I agree that it being towards the movie or TV show is almost essential for MetaZoo right now. That seems to be the attitude of the community is like, hey, we need some actual like data here on what we're doing with this movie and TV show. I think that's important.
Maybe they'll give it to us in 18 months.
Comic-Con is a good
You should be
place to
patient,
go.
Louis.
Yeah.
Um,
Again, I have not complained about not getting my Kickstarters yet. I don't
know.
care about Kickstarter.
I think
I've gotten one of 4 of my MetaZoo Kickstarters
why did you back it 4 times?
because I needed 4 different sets of poker chips so I could play actual poker games. What do you want from me? I want to play MetaZoo poker. Like, imagine like playing poker with MetaZoo chips. I'm excited for that.
Add on more poker chips to your pledge.
No, it was a max of 1 per
That's
pledge.
true? I thought I added more than that.
You did not.
I don't know
Louis,
what
your
I did.
gambling
It's
is
been a long
becoming
time
a problem on this podcast.
I don't even play poker.
We need to sit down and talk to you about this. I think there's a phone number you can call.
Do you guys
I'm not
want
willing to talk about
Do
this.
you guys want to place bets on when we get our MetaZoo poker chips?
He needs to go to therapy for this. Don't make
Your
her cry.
gambling's a problem. Your gambling's a problem.
So, like, I think that this is going to be an announcement about the TV show. I think it'll be big. Mike is wild because Mike will wait and then hit a home run. I think it's time for him to hit that home run again.
Yeah.
And I think he will. I think Comic-Con is going to be totally banana pants for MetaZoo. And I think it is time. I think it's exciting. I'm very excited for the future of MetaZoo.
Yes, Josh.
I want to point out that I think it has to be about the TV show or the movie. I would even accept that it can be about the video game.
Yeah,
like
sure. I don't
that to me is just as good.
I think we maybe talk about the movie and TV show like they're two different things, and I feel like they're probably just one thing.
I think it's the same thing. We just don't know.
Yeah, I think maybe we just don't. Mike, leave in the comment section. Is it a TV show or a movie?
And Mike, put in the comments below if I can guess next time. I'm gonna text Mike tomorrow who my guess is.
Okay.
When you guess, I'm gonna do that thing Louis pointed out that I do where I duck, so I'm not on the screen for that part.
So, I think this is it's MetaZoo needs some oomph going into it right now.
So that was my point. If it's not about one of those two things,
listen,
or one of the media things, I am concerned. Right?
Yeah, listen,
now
they can't announce. They can't announce the new collaboration is the Seance. Is a Seance Revive, right? Like,
well,
that can't happen.
That wouldn't
Revive
be
is cool.
bigger.
Revive is cool, but like we know that. Like they.
Right.
So what if it was Supreme? We talked about Supreme last week. Would that be bigger and better and enough?
Yeah, of course. But that's not. Yeah, it is. It would be, but I don't think that's what it is.
I don't think I'm with you guys on the fact that I don't think this can be a product. I don't think you can build this as this gigantic announcement and have it be a product. Otherwise,
if they announce Supreme, I think that'd be pretty big. I don't think they are, but I think that'd be pretty big.
I have no clue how big Supreme is.
Supreme is massive.
I don't have a factor for that in my brain.
Supreme is great. Supreme had the world's worst pinball machine that sells for like $1 bajillion now.
Like,
didn't they also produce like a hatchet?
Let's say they announce a product with. Let's say they announce a product with Nike. Is that a big enough thing? I don't see that as a big enough thing.
I think it'd be big enough. I also think that'd be wild, and I don't understand it.
I don't like Nike swooshes with like MetaZoo on it.
Yeah, for NBA players to play.
Okay, listen. If they announce NBA players, that's big enough. But like,
yeah. So I don't think that's. I don't think that's big enough. I think that this announcement.
Wait,
I don't think. I don't need another like product to buy.
I don't need another reason. Box.
I need a reason to buy the product.
Wait, so I don't. Let me be very clear here. I don't think this is what it is. Mike steps on stage with Michael Jordan.
Stage? What? Michael Jordan. We went from a product that Nike makes that some lame basketball player wears to Michael Jordan.
That would be enough.
Wow.
That would be enough.
Okay, so he steps on the stage with Kevin Durant. Who do y'all want?
This is the definition of gaslighting, everyone.
Like, name me what NBA player do you guys have in mind?
You did it.
I did.
You did it.
I did it.
You did it.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Name me an NBA player that you guys had in mind with this, I guess.
I don't know a single NBA player, and that's my point.
Talon Horton Tucker.
That's
not big enough
to me. That name means nothing to me.
Yes, I just answered.
If they announce a collab with Nike and a few NBA players, I think it'd be massive.
You'd have to go bigger than Jordan. You have to go with LeBron.
God, you're just looking to fight someone today, and it's amazing. I love this. I love Spicy Louis.
Is that the guy who lost all those NBA finals? Is that the guy you're talking about?
Has he lost NBA finals?
Do you want me to wear one of my six LeBron jerseys?
LeBron. Oh, God, it's gross. We all know the best NBA player is Dennis Rodman. Continue.
I think that this needs to be an announcement that gives a reason to buy MetaZoo, not another opportunity to buy MetaZoo product. That's my point.
I don't think it can be a product, right? I think it
yeah.
needs. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it needs to be something that pushes the IP and pushes this notion of the MetaZoo universe and the MetaZoo world, which will then bring value to the already existing products.
Yeah. I think in 2021, the reason to buy MetaZoo was because the TCG was pumping and the collecting was pumping, and it was a huge success in that world. Now in 2022, we need a reason that the IP is going to be successful to warrant the prices that we saw.
And then one day look back on all these boxes right now that are at the prices they're at and be like, oh, those were ever that price, because now the IP in the world has gotten so huge that it's so interesting to people. Yeah, I think this needs to be a step in that direction.
George is shaking his head.
No, you guys are both wrong. What MetaZoo has, tell me what you think of MetaZoo art, and I'll tell you if you're a fan of it or not. It's that simple. It's that simple. It's the same. Frankly, it's the same argument as sorcery, even though I know the communities probably won't see it that way, and that's fine. If you love MetaZoo art, you're going to love MetaZoo. That's why I love it. I like the art.
You said sorcery art was amazing, but are bearish on sorcery because of all the other details.
I'm not bearish on sorcery.
I'm distrusting. I want to be confirmed.
You're distrusting.
Okay.
I'm confused.
We need to have this be a live stream from now on, because I need to see the chat react. If you are not commenting on this video with what the hell did George just say, then
I'm not bearish on sorcery. I think you can still do well financially.
Now, hold on. I only used bearish because George taught me what that meant this week. So,
which is amazing, by the way.
George gets some credit. I always get the two
now
mixed up,
we're in a bear market.
Yeah, I had to ask.
Today was a bear day.
So, George, I think MetaZoo announcement. My expectation with this announcement, because Mike wouldn't hype up an announcement if it wasn't Mike would not have posted this and be like, "Are you ready, casters?" He wouldn't have done that if it wasn't something that was, in my opinion, if it wasn't something that was big. And so I see this as hey, give me a announcement that's going to get somebody to buy CN2 boxes. That's what I see this as. It's something that's going to widen the interest in MetaZoo so big that CN2 boxes are going to become something that people want and don't just use as packing peanuts and packing packs.
Nobody would do that. I don't think they're focused on the booster box prices like we've said the last 3 months, if you were paying attention. And they couldn't right now. They need to be focused on how they're growing the universe, and I think this will be that.
Do you hear? What do you mean they're not focused on the booster box prices? They just have their print run.
Yes.
That's going to affect the price of the booster box.
They definitely are. They are definitely aware of and looking at the booster box.
They're aware of it, but I don't think it's
not a bad thing to say.
I don't think they're focused on it, though.
I disagree with that.
I think we're all saying the same thing, and we're going about it different ways. I think we all agree that this announcement is about the MetaZoo world and the MetaZoo IP. That's what we all believe. And we also, just to be on Front Street, we all believe that can be huge, and this is an opportunity to take that in another step in a direction, which is amazing. That could be this announcement literally has an opportunity to be groundbreaking. It has that opportunity.
This could be the biggest MetaZoo news ever.
It really could.
And if it's about the movie or video game or TV show, it will be. That's what this is. That's my point.
I agree with you. That would be bonkers. And if George is silent Scoopy by the face he's making is right, I think if he knows something we don't, it might be bonkers.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, George, for enlightening us and making us all think. It's great. All right, everyone. That's the end of the podcast. Finally, you made it. 2 hours and 6 minutes in.
You get tell them what they've won, Louis.
Congratulations. You don't get your 2 hours back. You don't get to pass go. And whatever you learned, we're glad that you were here. Leave a comment. Make sure you hit subscribe and hit that share button because it works really well for the algorithm. And remember to be kind to the people around.
Every week. It's my favorite tradition.
Remember to be...
He has to think about it so hard. Every week.
Remember to be kind to the people around you, and may the zoo be with you.
And also to
with
you.
You.